I can't actually hear anything.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can. Brilliant. Very good.
No worries.
I was just wondering if because I couldn't hear Anton and I could see his mute was off.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
If you're speaking, Anton, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
No, I can't hear anyone either, and I don't think we have the admin to bring Mario in. No, we still can't hear you.
Like, we can't hear you, I'm afraid, Anton. It might be if you're able to try another device. That might be a way around it.
Okay, I can finally hear you, ladies.
Oh,
Diana,
brilliant.
Gemma, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Jesus bleeding Christ. Oh, my. I think it's my headphones. I am in a very fancy office, but still, only today, but still, when you don't have headphones that work, nothing else matters. Right, so I'm glad at least the women have managed to work this out. We've got the guys in the audience, Mario and Pavel, just sitting there looking pretty. Fellas, would you like to raise your hand? We'll bring you up. Perfect. Let's bring Pavel. Let's bring Mario. All right. At last, we have a team. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A. It's our 127th Q&A we've done. We used to do them on Clubhouse, where we got over 260,000 people joining us. We now do them here on LinkedIn, and we need all the help we can get to those numbers and beyond again. So if you find any value in this, we'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your network, either here on LinkedIn. You can share it on your profile. You can invite and ping specific people in. You can share it outside LinkedIn, wherever you wish. What we're going to do now quickly is go through some quick introductions. Then we'll open it for questions from the audience. Basically, today, it's all about product and tech. So, do you want to know how to get your product roadmap, your design, your prototype, your testing, perhaps your automation, low to no code, launching your MVP app or landing page and beyond? This is the place to be for the next 52 minutes now. We only have 1 hour and 8 minutes I have wasted with my bleeding equipment. Now, we're going to do some quick introductions, and then we'll open it for questions. By the way, we also run 3 other rooms, so 4 in total. Mondays, it's talent. So if you've got questions on talent today, please save them for Monday. Tuesdays, obviously, as you can see today, it's product and tech. Wednesdays, it's growth. So anything to do with growing your business, making sales, partnership, whatever that be, save them for tomorrow. And then Thursday, we do a room on fundraising. So anything to do with investment and grants and what have you, save them for Thursday. They're all 12 to 1 p.m. And you can RSVP to any session between now and the 19th of December on our website, startup-to-scaleup.club. Just pick whichever Q&A you want and RSVP via there. Now, quickly to some introductions, and then we'll open it for questions. My name's Anton Kozłowski. I'm an Albanian in London. Used to work quite heavily in the talent partner space. Normally, a startup would get investment. I'd go in and help them build their team. Not so much of that now. I'm mainly focused with Startup to Scale Up Club. I'm also helping a couple of startups with talent, a few others with growth, and then also doing some work lately helping angels and family offices with their due diligence and assessments. And that's pretty much it. Now, I've got 4 brilliant panelists today. We're going to start with the 2 ladies, Diana, Gemma, Pavel, and whenever Mario comes back, we'll go on to Mario. So let's start in that order with introductions, please. Diana, Gemma, Pavel, and Mario. And after the introductions, we'll ask some main do's and don'ts. But let's start with the intros. Diana?
Hi everyone. I'm Diana. I'm a product management coach and consultant. I work with startups and mid-sized tech companies to build products that matter in weeks, not months. I have over 10 years experience as a product leader in retail, travel, fintech, and e-commerce. in companies of different sizes, from big corporations all the way to smaller startups. And ultimately, I help product teams eliminate uncertainty, validate ideas early, and deliver high-impact features faster by providing coaching, tools, and frameworks designed to accelerate time to market.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Yes, Gemma.
Yeah, so me next. So I'm a consultant CTO, and I work with VC and PE-backed firms to help them with their scaling challenges. I've worked internationally for the last 15 years, so I've worked with businesses across the globe. I'm mostly focused on the scale-up space at the moment. I'm also a mentor and coach on the Founders Institute Accelerator in Sweden.
Thank you very much, Gemma. Pavel.
Hi guys, my name is Pavel. I'm the co-founder and CTO/CPO at the company called Founder and Lightning, where we help usually early stage founders realize their vision and leave the legacy that they want to leave. And I usually work with the product and technology teams to try to make sure that what we build is the right for the users and also in the right way. And we, over the last 8-9 years, helped around 30 founders to release and to build the things that they really wanted to build. And yeah, here to help.
Hello, my name is Mario. I'm connecting from Spain, and I work with non-technical founders on their journey from 0 to 1 and from 1 to at least 2. So my clients are usually founders without a team who have idea and some money and looking to build their next big thing, or companies with non-technical founders who reach some scaling problems and they're not able to, usually non-technical founders are not able to, manage a team, they're not able to provide technology leadership at the given stage of the company. So yeah, that's about me. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you very much to all 4 of you. You've heard them, people. We've got 4 brilliant panelists today, both on the product side as well as the technical side. So we now have 47 minutes for you with any questions you may have in terms of that journey from startup to scale up, or simply starting with ideation. So if you've got any questions on things like product roadmap, design, prototype, testing, landing pages, automation, apps, low to no code, or perhaps launching your MVP and beyond, all you have to do is raise your hand. We'll bring you up on stage, introduce yourself, and then fire away with your question. There are no right or wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. All you have to do, like I said, is just raise your hand and we'll bring you up. So whilst we're waiting for some of you to formulate your questions, I'd love to hear from my panelists. What are your biggest do's and don'ts when it comes to that early stage product and tech journey? And by the way, for those of you listening either via YouTube or Facebook, please be aware that I am not able to see your comments. So if you do want to ask any questions, there's a link in the description there to join us directly here on LinkedIn Live Audio, or you can just go to LinkedIn and search for Startup to Scale Up Club, and you'll find this event live now. Let's start with the fellas. So we'll start with Mario, Pavel, Gemma, and Diana. What are your biggest do's and don'ts when it comes to early stage product and tech? And let's try and keep it a minute per person. Mario.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, don't do it if you don't have any money, right? That's probably, but yeah, joke aside, probably overbuilding is the major risk, and not being able to really understand what your customers need versus what they say they need, right? And then there's obvious risk. I work with non-technical founders, so they usually don't know, like they're not able to there's a quote from an agency and they don't know is this okay quote or is not. They're asking for too much money. Is this deadline realistic or not? So those are probably the bigger challenges. And yeah, that's what I would say is the the biggest thing that that leads to a problem in the beginning.
Thank you. Yes, Pavel.
Okay, I will try to add to Mario's point. I love when he started in a funny way that don't do it when you don't have the money. I think there is something in it. My point of view would be, do fall in love with the problem that you're trying to sort out. Don't fall in love with the solution that you've got in the head. Most of the great businesses will pivot, change, adjust, and being too in love with the solution that you've got in your head, that everything has to be pink, or everything has to be a mobile app, or everything has to work like this, is usually a problematic thing as the business progress. So fall in love and deep understanding with the problem or the insight that you've got about how this could be sorted out, but don't fall in love with your Figma designs. That would be my advice.
Thank you. Yes, Gemma.
Well, I guess a couple of thoughts which build on what Paul and Mario have said. So I think in terms of not having any money and that sort of position of being very speculative, because you're just testing out an idea really and finding out whether you can sell it, right? Well, you need to have that early validation and feedback, and you need to find tooling and product approaches, which I'm sure Diana can make some good recommendations on, to actually test out and start validating. Right, from the get-go, before you get to a point where you've actually speculated financially. I think the other thing to point out is that we've had this sort of cultural shift over the last few years, and especially through the sort of 𝗧𝗲 boom era, where the interest rates were very low, and that has sort of given rise to lots of sort of hype around the sort of speculative startup, entrepreneurial kind of manner of doing business. And the reality is that tech founders, they are building, at some point, you're building an enterprise piece of software if you keep going for long enough. And that is a complex discipline which takes years to learn, and it takes years to get experienced at. So most people can, with some support, can execute on the small project level. As soon as you start to scale it, you're really in knee deep. So, and I think that's very naive, and I think people don't understand when they're going into these sorts of projects that actually they're going to be building enterprise software, and that there's an entire industry that's very mature, and that you're going to be competing against that's been sat there for as long as the internet's existed, right? So I think that those two things are sort of important to sort of understand and get some guidance on from the get-go.
Thank you, Gemma. Yes, Dan.
Great. I mean, already some really good points being raised. From my side, yeah, I definitely agree. You have to be really clear on a problem that you are solving for customers. And to add to that, I think there's kind of two types of problems. So there's like a painkiller, where it's like someone really is blocked, or like the problem is really big, or is a vitamin, where it's like not just a nice to have, but like the problem is around making things slightly better. But I guess what I'm trying to say, the problem has to also be valuable enough for that user. So when it comes to, okay, do you have a clear problem you're solving? Great. How big is this problem for that user? Is this something that they would pay for? So all these questions you can definitely need to be really clear on. And I agree on the validation. You need to keep iterating on your product, because whatever you start with is not going to be the thing that's going to resonate with customers. You need to iterate on it and find what is actually that solution. And on the don't, I would say is, I think there's a lot of confusion around what does like early validation look like before you're building a product. There's obviously a lot of ways to do it. There's ways in which you can validate the value proposition, or you can start validating some very early, or the overall concept with some prototypes. But the main thing is, don't go around asking customers, like the user research shouldn't be, would you pay for this? Because what people do is very different from what they say. So I think is around having some scrutiny around what is your plan for research or for validation that is not just stuff that people say they might do. So that's what I would say as a watch out.
That is brilliant. Thank you very much to all four of you. Those are very wise points you've made. Now we're going to go to some of the questions live. We've got Mohammed, who's back on stage with us. Mohammed, thank you for coming back to join us. Please introduce yourself and fire away with whatever question you may have for us today on product or tech.
Hello, everyone. This is Mohammed 𝗬𝗏𝗍. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the information you guys are sharing. I'm the founder of 𝗬𝗏𝗏, which is an infrastructure for decentralized applications. My question is basically how, if, when the value proposition or the idea requires a visionary person to kind of pick it up, where they probably would put it together in a nicer way than me, would you reckon that they have to be technical like CTOs at the beginning or more business oriented to kind of get the vision behind the idea? As where it mentioned already that sometimes people would just say yes, 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 but they wouldn't pick the right vision behind it.
To be honest with you, Mohammed, I personally am not 100% sure I fully understood the question. I don't know if
I think I did actually. It's Mohammed. This is about who's kind of suitable for that sort of leadership role, I guess. Yeah, and I think I've been hired for commercial product development, and when I've been hired, it's normally because they need someone with a greater detailed knowledge of engineering than any commercial product person is realistically going to offer. Because you need to, you're not going to be effective commercially, you're not going to be effective in terms of design if you don't have a good understanding of how the goddamn thing works. Right? So, you know, and this is also one of the sort of challenges sometimes with a kind of engineering-led propositions, I think, is that you've got to learn the commercial stuff, and in a way you're in the best position because it's easier to translate your skills into that space, and it's impossible for business people to do the same. They're not going to start being engineers anytime soon, are they? So it's I think it's about actually having the sort of right support mechanisms and coaching if you're missing the sort of product development and sort of commercialization and sales capabilities, to start to be able to learn that yourself and also with your co-founding team, and also find other people when you're in a position to hire that have got that more kind of serious engineering capability if that's required, but can also handle some of the commercial side.
Actually, just to clarify, the question is basically, would I mention that I'm looking for a visionary, like financial consultant? For example, if it was a software vision, that it would require a CTO. If it was the value, it's going to be on the financial market, I would ask for someone with a vision on the financial market to give me consultation. It's just that, yeah.
So in a nutshell, basically you want to know, in terms of choosing a co-founder to take you to market, is that right?
Exactly. Who can like interpret what I have, where he has the vision, we follow the same vision, but he must be visionary as well, so he can pick it up. Yeah.
Remind me again, Mohammed, what is your background? Are you techie? Are you, from what I remember, you're not a techie?
Yeah. No, I am actually. I become techie because I was in love with my solution, not the problem, as mentioned.
Become techie. Can you roll your sleeves up and code what you need, or you understand tech language and tech use?
Like so far, as far as I'm concerned, I understand up to a certain level, but when it come to implementing things, I would need some experts. Like I did the MVPs myself. I did build the backends, the front end myself. which I shouldn't.
Okay.
But I had to because I couldn't afford.
How is your commercial/sales side?
Maybe 80%. It's just that, like, what I want to get, the point I'm trying to reach, because the whole idea of what I'm trying to provide is basically an escrow service to allow the commerce space to solve a problem within a commerce space.
I hear.
Within
Okay,
an interest.
let me put it this way. If you had a choice right now, what do you think you would do best, and where would you add most value for your company? In going out there to get people to sign the contracts and say, yes, I'll pay you this much money for your product, or in sitting in the office, coding and helping or directing or leading a team of coders to build your stuff? Which of those two would you feel you can add more value right now?
Talking to the team on the
Talking to the
internal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
In that case, what I would do if I were you, although this question is a bit more for our Monday room yesterday, which is on talent, on finding that co-founder. Personally, I would find somebody who's commercial, especially from that field that you want to sell to, and has some technical understanding. But I'd love to hear from Pavel, Mario, and Diana if they want to add anything, or if we'd like to move on to the next bit. Mario, you're unmuted. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah. I was just going to say this brought a good question about vision, and I have opinion there that vision is kind of overrated, right? Because like what we do, and I'm coming like from CTO perspective, and providing tech leadership to those smaller and startups and scale-ups, right? I would say that majority of the company nowadays, when you don't talk about those like top tier, top 100, 200, 500 companies, right? Tech companies in the world, they're just like, from technology perspective, just business as usual, from the perspective of, decision architecture, tooling, whatever, right? All those things, you have those like top tier companies that produce approaches, produce tooling, technology, whatever, and we implement. And I'm not saying it's trivial. It's not like, otherwise I wouldn't have nothing to do, right? But you don't really, on software nowadays, you don't need to be really visionary to deliver, even like solution that can scale up to, millions of users, right? So I wouldn't worry, like if I'm hiring CTO for my company, I wouldn't look to hiring a visionary, right? Because it's good, right? Vision is not bad thing, but it's more, we need to execute, right? And you need to execute something that's solid, that can scale, that can support growth, that can deliver on business requirements, that can deliver on business vision, like, okay, we're going into this direction, right? And executing is pretty much figured out already, right? So what most of us are doing, or I would say like almost all of us are doing, we're implementing only best practices that other people already did. So we're not really inventing. And like technology nowadays, for most of the company, you don't invent nothing. You just hook up things that people usually smarter than you, already implemented and but battle tested and whatnot. So yeah, like vision is not, maybe on product, probably vision is something that has a lot of value, or maybe more value, like figuring out that people want to type on their screen instead of their phone keyboards like they did, I don't know, like 15 years ago, right? But on technology nowadays, I'm not saying for, if you want to, make your car driving in Mumbai, you probably need some vision how to do it, right? But most of the companies out there, they just hook up already, pre-made frameworks, approaches, whatever. So that's how I see vision in technology nowadays. Not sure if that was the question, but
yeah, basically, just to frame the future product, sometimes you need someone with a vision to help you really reach the product you are imagining you want to reach. Yeah.
I'm not even, maybe, like, I don't know your products, right? Maybe I'm not saying there's no products like that, right? I'm not saying
sometimes
but
some products requires the vision to be understood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right. yeah, some products, but like majority of the commercially successful products, they have like zero vision in, like when we talk about technology, right? They maybe have some vision or some like innovation when it comes to how to sell it, how to position yourself, how to find initial customers, how to do marketing, how to do this and that, right? But like from technology perspective, they're just, just doing, connecting bits and pieces and make it do a good job on things that you can learn online. You can maybe not quickly, maybe you need 10 years to do it, but I'm trying to say that those people are available, they're there, and what they do is not, it's not magic. It's just, some industry that has some maturity and some books.
Can I interrupt, Mario? One of the earliest things, Mohammed, that I've learned from VCs and investors is that idea men don't bring the cows home. And in terms of visionary, you want somebody visionary if you're bringing up something, in the likes of Steve Jobs, that he already had the team and the money to do the dirty work. If you're a founder who hasn't got money to now hire 100 people, there's no need to focus on visionary. There's a reason why, if you look at, I would say, over 90% of unicorns, they had a good product person like the likes of Diana and Gemma here, only quite after some time that they'd gone to market. There's a reason for that. Because you first need to build some credibility, and then you can focus on that idea. But anyway, it's better we save this for Monday's room, if that's okay, Mohammed, and we'll do a quick reset of the room. For those of you that have questions on building your product or technology, please keep that in mind for today. If you have other questions on other topics, you can save them for the other rooms we do. Just a reminder to everybody, on Mondays we help you with talent, so finding and hiring and keeping the right people and empowering them. On Tuesdays today is the tech and product side, from product roadmap all the way to MVP and beyond, and everything in between. Tomorrow it's growth, so how to sell, how to go to market, how to brand, how to growth hack, partnerships, you name it, making money basically. And then on Thursday, it's fundraising, so how to attract investment or grants or loans or angel or crowdfund and all that jazz. If you do have any such questions, please raise your hand now. We're only going to be here for the next 27 minutes. There are no right or wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. It's a learning curve for us all. If you are tuning in via YouTube or Facebook, please be aware that I'm unable to see whatever comments you're making. Therefore, you would need to come over to LinkedIn right now, and there you can search for Startup to Scale Up Club and find the live room we are in now, and then join and come up to ask a question. Now, what we'll do whilst we're waiting for some people to come up with some live questions, we'll go on to some people that sent in questions to us in writing. This is a green tech founder in Sheffield. They're at seed stage. The main founder's got sustainable energy background. So what they're trying to do is to develop a home energy monitoring system that helps homeowners reduce their energy consumption through real-time insights and automated suggestions. Jesus, okay. Now the question is quite a long one. Homeowners are interested in reducing energy costs, but many are overwhelmed by the data provided by our monitoring system. They don't know how to act on the insights or feel that implementing the recommended changes would require too much effort. How can we simplify the data presentation and offer more actionable step-by-step guidance, potentially integrating automated solutions to help users see immediate benefits without feeling overwhelmed by the system? In other words, I would say this person in Sheffield has got a shiny new toy that people are finding a bit complicated. How do we simplify that and get people to act on it? Let's start from the ladies this time, if that's okay, because it's more of a product question anyway, I would say, rather than tech. So Diana, if you don't mind doing the honors, and then Gemma, then Pavel, then Mario, please. And by the way, if you want me to repeat the question or any part of it, feel free to
No, I think I understood. If it is around, they already have a product that they've gotten feedback that people are finding it hard to follow and hard to implement any recommendations on the back of it. I think this is where, well, it's good at if they already have a product, then there's like a tangible starting point. So I recommend spending as much time with the users, truly understanding what are the biggest blockers. I think is what was really important with everything is what is the ultimate problem you're trying to solve. So it's like, okay, if we're trying to reduce people's bills, what themes are there, or are there certain recommendations that people are finding very hard? So while you're going to simplify, I think it's very useful to talk to as many of the current customers as possible, and then be able to identify themes around what are those areas that they are really struggling with. Because it's like, one, it sounds like it could be something related to data. And I think with data, what you really want to do is very much link it back to the goal. So it's like, don't show everything. And I think that's where the, simplifying things is a lot harder than people assume. A lot of founders build more and more features, but reality is you probably need to just build less features, but make them really targeted and really highlight to your users how by having these features, you're actually able to help them solve the problem. So I think that's where you want to do a lot of user research. And then I think it's like, on the back of that, if you are identifying some themes, I would definitely say create some hypothesis of different changes you would make. Don't make all changes at once, but create your own experiments of, okay, if we're reducing this, or if we're taking away this data, or if we're presenting in a different way, what expected change we'll see from customers, and then track that.
Thank you, Diana. Gemma, any thoughts on this? Would you like me to repeat anything? Because I know it was quite a mouthful.
I'm wondering if you could repeat what the proposition actually is.
As in what they're trying to solve?
Yes.
Yeah. So it says here, they're a green tech, he's a green tech founder in Sheffield. He's got sustainable energy background, and the problem that they're trying to solve is developing a home energy monitoring system that helps homeowners reduce their energy consumption through real-time insights and automated suggestions. And it sounds, then he goes on to say, I think they don't know how to act on the insights, or feel that implementing the recommended changes would require too much effort. So how can we simplify this, basically?
Well, all of the kind of product design UX, Diane's had some great feedback, and she's the most qualified person for that. Because I'm not a product designer.
Fair enough.
I'm a CTO day to day. But I tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like a lot of the kind of IoT home monitoring propositions that which have been out on the market many years actually now. There was quite a high level of interest from the insurance industry. I've actually worked on some of these. The complexities are not really so much once you've nailed the kind of whole kind of user customer journey and kind of rendered out the design and made that readable for the users. The challenge is more actually things like actually how you set up and capture the data, and the issues you will have inevitably around privacy, and then how you actually make a significant return on that. So typical things were actually setting up the hardware, because if you're capturing data, where are you getting that data from? And you'll have all sorts of scenarios where, you know, children have stuck chewing gum on the sensors, or you know, the hardware has failed for some reason, or you have a privacy breach because you're able to monitor that actually just by triangulating the data, that somebody is moving around their home, and you can see how many occupants at what time, if you're a bit motivated to find that out. There's all sorts of complexities with those types of solutions. I think probably the design challenge she's talking about is probably one of the more solvable problems. Yeah, those solutions have also a challenge with the volume of data and how much data you really need to capture. Anything IoT driven, the volume of data is absolutely potentially huge, and there's very few solutions that really need to capture that volume of data. Like, do you need to send a message back to the device, from the device to the application every second or every minute or every few hours? You know, how much of that information is useful? So there's all sorts of other challenges, I would say, that are in there, which are probably more contextually problematic in terms of the design, but there's also quite a lot of other products out on the market doing something very similar to what's described. So I think trying to find a unique value proposition within that would probably be the first most important thing to define.
I hear you. Thank you very much for that, Gemma. Fellas, any thoughts on this? Would you like me to repeat anything?
No, I don't think so. I think it's okay, Anton. Thank you. So my view would be, there is the whole body of knowledge about how to do a decent dashboards representing the data, but from my experience and from what I know, I don't think so this is the biggest problem for us, especially in the sustainability space. I would strongly recommend to whoever is the person on the other side to have a look at the work by the guy called 𝗬𝗁 and his book 𝗬𝗁, when he talks about a lot of psychological barriers for sustainability changes that we are trying to achieve. And the interesting example that I kind of remember is the rubbish bins outside of all of our homes. If you try to start with, hey, there is this amount of rubbish being thrown in front of your house, and this is the number, and this is the chart of things going up and down, and now you have to figure it out a way to put things into the correct something. It is really, really hard for people to do this. Versus if you just put 3 bins in front and write on one of them, this is the normal bin, everything else is paper, then it makes it so much easier. So I think a lot of people who are trying to improve the sustainability for all of us are kind of starting with this, you have to change the attitude towards something, rather than giving us an extremely simple solution that we kind of can't really disobey because it's just the social standards and other things like this. So I would be tempted not to start with persuading people that the data or the insights or something like that works. And also from the conferences that they did, the 𝗬𝗁 did, called unstuck, that there was the thing about, when you're trying to improve sustainability, it has to be for egoistical reason, because the people who are trying to save the planet, they are already doing all of the things that your tool is going to do. If you're trying to do it for everybody else, it has to matter to me, right? And the effort I have to put in to save 2p, £1, whatever is the number, has to really make sense to me. So I don't know this person product, but there is this, you have to make it that it works for me as the individual and it's actually worth it. So it's a huge challenge, but I would look into psychological drivers and the more product thinking, rather than, oh, there is a chart that will persuade me to do absolutely anything there. Because I think we've got way too many dashboards already in our lives, but that's just me.
So you're saying resort to sorcery. Now, you know what I'm going to ask you to do, Pavel, don't you?
Yeah. No, I don't, but try.
Okay. Go to comments and copy and paste that book from Rory. Maybe Amazon might be the easiest. Would you mind doing that, please?
Sure, I will do that straight away.
Top man. Mario, did you want to add anything, or shall we move on to Regina?
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. I think we should move to the next one.
Good one. Thank you very much. Right, a quick reset of the room, and then we go on to Regina, who is live here on stage. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A. It's our 127th session. We used to do all of these on Clubhouse, where we had over 260,000 people. None of that would have happened if we didn't have people like the amazing Diana, Gemma, Pavel, and Mario. So show them your love, please. On the other hand, today we're only seeking to help people with product and technology. So product roadmap, design, prototype, testing, landing page, apps, automation, low to no code, launching MVP, beyond, or anything in between. This is the place to do it. If you've got questions on other matters, please save them for the other rooms we do. Mondays talent, Tuesdays obviously, as you can see today, product and tech, Wednesdays growth, and Thursdays fundraising. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. and if you go to our website, StartUp2ScaleUp.club, look at the events there. You can RSVP to any Q&A between now and the 19th of December. Regina, all the way from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, welcome to our stage. Please introduce yourself and fire away with whatever question you have for us today.
Absolutely. I was so bummed when you all took a break because I love starting my mornings like this. So my name's Gina. I work in product, but I actually build things in cybersecurity a lot. And I wanted to respond to that question that you had previously because I have a lot going on and I also want to do things that help the environment. And so I just wanted to share that from my perspective, they really have to split up the group and figure out why those people are even interested in this, personalize the experience, and then make it a game. So if I'm interested in something with all the other things I have going on, I got these autistic kids and these projects, so many things. If it's not gamified where I can see that I'm reaching a goal, you'll lose me right away. If I have to read too much. So once I made a decision that I want that product, continue to encourage and educate me, but make it a game that I can win. Show me this is what you said you wanted to achieve this week or this month or whatever it is, and make it where it's easy for me to hit that toggle or do the thing, and then send me a hooray email or something, because I need that feeling that I'm moving in the right direction. And so that's what I would share for that person who had the question there.
Thank you very much, Gina, and thanks for coming up. Please do keep joining us. Right here, if there are any other questions from the audience, by the way, we've only got 12 minutes to go, so please don't leave it for last second. There are no right or wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. Whilst we're waiting for that, we'll go on to another question. This is from an EdTech founder in Bristol. She's a former teacher, and they are now at seed stage. Question: we're creating an online tutoring platform for students with learning difficulties. We're unsure whether to start with a fully functional MVP, she's put in brackets, we're currently building, or initially just go with a landing page with a simple sign-up form to test demand. What metrics should we look at when deciding how much tech to build up front? And what's the best way to test our assumptions with minimal development? So I guess there's three questions here. Number one, shiny MVP or landing page. Number two, what metrics should we look at in order to decide that? And number three, how do we test things to get to those metrics? Let's start now from the bottom. We've got Diana, sorry. Okay, we'll start first with the ladies. So this time we'll start with Gemma, then Gemma, Pavel, Mario, and Diana, please. Take it away, Gemma.
So they've got more than one test, haven't they, really? Because they're validating two different things. So it depends on the stage. So it also depends on the stage that they're at. I'm making the assumption that they've actually gone and done quite a lot of kind of user research and feedback. Probably. If they haven't, they need to.
They're currently building their MVP, and she's put it in brackets app. So I'm assuming they've done some research. You're right.
Yeah. So in which case you need to the test is, in terms of validating interest, is quite key, and using channels like setting up little even mini marketing campaigns just for a few bucks can be very helpful. But one of the challenges there is testing on only one or two channels, right? You've got to have some idea of what the channels that you're going to reach people are, and then you need to run various kind of tests in order to start to validate whether that is a possible channel within which to actually reach people. And then your feedback rounds through your product development should give you some kind of indicator. But this is also about separating your sales from your product development. And I think my experience is that that separation is actually key to understand whether you're really going to get sales over the line. And I also think that there can be dependencies between, you know, if it's is your research within your user base, are they all personally known to you? In which case, are they going to give you honest feedback about your product or not? Right? How much of those sample sizes is going to give you enough kind of feedback to understand whether your product is meeting the demands of the users, whether it may also sell. And so being able to identify those channels, if she's in the education market, that might be contacting schools who actually don't know her but might be prepared to participate in some kind of pilot or something, in order to start getting some kind of sense of the possibility of actually meeting their requirements and getting some traction. But the more channels that you have and the more feedback rounds that you have and the more measurable metrics you can put in, the better position you are in to read from those metrics, make the adaptations, and then tailor the product in order to actually meet those user demands.
Hey, thank you very much for that, Gemma. Pavel, any thoughts on that?
Sure. So I don't know how we move the world from what does it even mean, a shiny MVP, but let's leave it at that. I've never seen one which was shiny, which was also the MVP. That's the whole point of them not being extremely shiny. But in principle, for me, the landing page is an MVP or something to prove that there is a point of building more, which means for me, the landing page should always be there to either build a landing page or test your message or do A/B testing, or just like Gemma said, drive certain amount of advertising towards it to see the demand, to really learn more about the people, to find out the people who you can talk to. There is zero reason to be building something in the background as a, oh my God, we are not going to show anybody till we've got the shiny MVP, whatever that means. And I think that's really tricky to get to this point, especially now with how the world is changing. On the question of what is the metrics and what to measure within the product, I think that's an interesting one. And I think for most of the, let's call it educational product, there will be the standard things. I recently kind of started to look into the metrics that are actually showing the change in user behavior, rather than just purely, oh, the revenue goes up or the people just sign in. So I don't know, and we don't know anything about this product, but let's assume that there are some lessons or some things that the users could or should be doing within the product. Then my thing would be, okay, let's measure the amount of time that, or the amount of users that comes back to play with us 3 times in a week, right? Because those will be the early adopters, those will be the people who really love your product. And then we kind of keep building the features to persuade more and more people to come to play 3 times a week. So that would be the metrics for me. It wouldn't be, oh, just the basics you would just cover, but figure out the metrics that actually drive. It's like a really, really good proxy to your success as the product. And then the question on what to build, like, yeah, I think it really depends. Hence, I think that the landing page and the ability to talk to others is so much better than building the mobile app without having that understanding. Yeah, so I would probably approach it from that perspective first.
Hey, thank you very much for that, Mario.
Well, yeah, there's always the question why all those people, they don't build that landing page and they start building the app directly. And I've seen that, you know, most of the clients I'm getting them, you know, oh, we want to build it. And, you know, they're not really into building that landing page. And it's kind of curious. I'm curious because why? Because it kind of checks all the boxes, right? So you're going to get some feedback, you're going to get some, you know, but when you go into details, okay, let's build a landing page, and you kind of go into a lot of those things that they, you know, they don't have yet. Like, okay, what would be the messaging? Are you able to really convey the idea on that landing page? right? So at the end, somehow they decide not to do it. Not everyone like that idea of, okay, let's send some paid traffic to the landing page and see what sticks, right? But like just developing campaign that can produce qualified people to land on the landing page and really be interested to a product, especially if it's like, let's say, B2B SaaS, it's very hard. Like if they can do that alone, they could monetize immediately, right? Because it's very hard to do, right? So at the end, a lot of people just decide to build, and follow their vision. I cannot blame them on that, because they realize that it's just not that simple, right? It's just, oh, let's build a landing page, let's put some form on it. What I'm bigger fan of is just reaching out to people, like to potential customers, just reaching out, cold email and say like, look, I want to do this thing. Do you have like 5 minutes so I can ask you what problems you have, right? Because that's what that landing page might give you, just to talk with 10 people that have the same problem, then you realize, oh, cool.
Yeah, but where do you get those emails? How are you going to get people to give you the email? How do you
right.
know who needs?
You reach out to LinkedIn and just, okay, this guy might be my customer. So okay, let me talk to this guy, and maybe he'll just donate half an hour of his life to talk with me, right? But not any of that is not just. I'm not saying like you just can do it without any of that and be successful in the end, right? Because not all ideas should be validated immediately from the customer's perspective to be successful. So I'm kind of against that bandwagon of but you need to talk to them, and if they don't tell you,
this is
right.
a tutoring platform. So this is a B2C tutoring platform. Assumption here is youngsters, but it doesn't have to be youngsters. So you can't go on LinkedIn. You have to do some kind of ads that will attract people, whether it's online, maybe the parents, or if it's for adult learning, then people to see it online. So in a way, that ad will need almost like a landing page, right?
Right.
But I hear what you're saying. We have 2 minutes to go. So unless you want to go forward, shall we go on to Diana, or
sorry, let's do it.
Finish. Sorry. Mario? Wait, still
no, I'm done. Yeah, I was waiting for Diana. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, please. Sorry about it. Yep. Go ahead, Diana. And I can't hear you now. No. Can the others hear Diana?
Pavel? No, we can't hear her.
No.
Minutes, maybe a quick question from Anna. Anna, please, quick introduction and fire away if you've got a question for us on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Lemeiras. I'm a director on a platform called 1212. The platform is directed to football clubs at the moment, and it is to serve the youth players. So we have done quite a few bits on our own. We have an MVP. It's been tested. But now to attract the investors, we need to have a club on board. But in order to have the club on board, we need to do more work that we need money for. What is the best option we are all working, and we need to develop.
Anna, this is more of a question for our Thursday room on fundraising.
Okay.
It is 12 o'clock.
All right.
Some brilliant investors, and I would love to go into a lot of detail with that, if that's okay. Would that be all right?
No problem at all. Thank you.
And I know this is a chicken and egg problem, but if I can say just one thing in terms of this, investors, it is true they need that, but you can go to accelerators. You can also maybe focus on getting LOIs, letters of intent, from clubs where they say, if you build XYZ, we're willing to pay XYZ. And you go with those letters of intent to both accelerators and maybe not institutional investors like VCs, but angels, etc. That would be my sort of quick answer, if that's all right. I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything here, but it's actually 1 o'clock and I'm actually on a client site today, so I can't stay too long. But what I would love to hear is our panelists' parting words. And Anna, if you go to our website, startup2scaleup.club, look at fundraising Q&A, which is for this Thursday, and RSVP there. And I would love to go into detail with this. Is that all right?
Thank you very much.
And best of luck with your product, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's start with Gemma, Pavel, Mario, and then Diana, if you've got any parting words for us, please.
I don't think I've got any parting words other than it was nice to talk to you all today, and I'm glad I could contribute, and I hope to join a future session.
Ever so thankful and would be happy to have you again, Gemma. Pavel.
Yeah, it was nice. The questions were very, very decent, and I think the conversations were cool. So looking forward to the next week. It was a pleasure to meet everybody.
Thank you very much, Pavel. Mario, and again, sorry I cut you off earlier, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks everyone. Nice to be here as usual, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mario. Diana, I'm sorry you weren't able to talk earlier, but far away.
Work now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Great. No, I enjoyed the chat. I think my answer to the previous question was for everyone. I think personas are very underrated. So truly understanding what your ideal customer profile is with as much detail about where would they hang out, what would they read, what type of communities they'll be part of, because that can really help you identify where to find these people in order to share information with them. But otherwise, yeah, I really enjoyed the questions. Thank you.
Here. Huge thanks to all of you for joining us, especially my amazing panelists. Thank you for your golden advice and time today. Also, thank you to all of you that came up for questions, obviously the audience as well. Apologies to Anna that we couldn't go into detail on that today, but please do join our future sessions tomorrow. So just a reminder, we do 4 per week. Monday, talent. So finding, keeping, hiring, empowering the right people. Tuesdays, obviously, as you can see today, product and tech. Wednesdays, it's growth. So basically selling more. And Thursdays, it's fundraising. So whether it's crowdfunding or debt or VC or angel and all that jazz, they're all 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. If you go to startup to scaleup.club, you can check on the events tab there and RSVP to any Q&A between now and the 19th of December. We've had over 260,000 people join us so far. None of that would have happened without our panelists, so please follow them, show them your love. But now we're on LinkedIn because we used to do it on Clubhouse, and we're not yet getting the people we had there, so we would appreciate all the help we can get. I share this, invite others, engage with our posts, and so on. Otherwise, see you all tomorrow for Startup Growth. Thanks again, and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.